So today we are going to discuss about this very important topic as far as this management of disaster is concerned. That is related to disaster communication system, and in which early warning system and its dissemination to warn the people well in advance and to make all the people familiar. So dissemination means to spread the information. Whatever early warning that you are going to give to any people, that should reach to that particular person. So that is related to early warning system and its dissemination. So whenever any disaster take place, all people that are involved, okay, all the emergency services, government offices, NDRF, NGO, all the local authorities, all these victims, we have to provide them all the necessary information, etc. So communication system is very essential, and all this infrastructure that is needed. Okay, so how to communicate, that is before a disaster, that is early warning system, which is very important aspect as far as the preparedness is concerned. So that we will see. Okay, so first try to understand what is the meaning of early warning system. So basically it is a set of capacities needed to generate and disseminate. Generate भी करना है आपको and disseminate भी करना है, which is timely and meaningful warning information to the possible extreme events or disasters that threatens people's lives. So basically you have to first, depending upon your application of IS, GIS, GPS, whatever system you are having for your early warning system, you have to first generate that information, and second thing, you have to disseminate timely and meaningful to all the people who are at risk. Okay, so that is the meaning of early warning system. So what are the purpose? To detect, forecast, and when necessary issue alerts रिलेटेड टू इम्पेंडिंग डिजास्टर. ये डिजास्टर आने वाला है, आपको उसको फोरकास्टिंग करना है और नेसेसरी इश्यू, यू हैव टू इश्यू द नेसेसरी अलर्ट फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर डिजास्टर. सो what is the purpose? To enable individual communities and organizations to prepare and act appropriately in sufficient time to reduce the possibility of harm, losses or risk of their lives as well as their property. So that if they are knowing in advance कि भाई ये disaster आने वाला है, so they can prepare themselves well. So you can say that early warning system, it is basically included in the stages of a disaster management cycle, that is preparedness aspect. Okay, so you can prepare how to respond to that particular impending disaster. So there are four basic key elements of any early warning system. First is risk knowledge. Proper risk knowledge is very important. Okay, so when you are knowing the proper risk knowledge through your studies, then it is useful to set the priorities. कहाँ कहाँ पे क्या क्या, कौन सा हाई रिस्क है, कौन सा लो रिस्क है, कौन सा मीडियम रिस्क है. So you can decide your priorities for mitigation and prevention strategies, and also it is useful in designing the early warning system. Next is monitoring and predicting. Continuous monitoring of any impending disaster through your remote sensing, it is very essential. That is, it is provided, it will provide timely estimate of the potential risk faced by the communities, economies and the environment. Agar if you are continuously tracking the path of any cyclone, so you will be able to predict. Okay, so that can estimate कि potential risk किस किसको है, कौन सी community को है, कौन सी economies को है, कौन सा environment पे है. Next is response. So this response is also very important. Okay, if you are knowing that this is going to come, so that coordination, good governance and appropriate action plans are key points in effective early warning. So response के लिए prepare रहना, it is very essential element of early warning. And last one is dissemination of information. You should have very effective communication system. It should be reliable and simple, and it should be understood by all. All the people who are at threat, they should be informed well in advance. So that is dissemination of the information. So these are the four key elements that are given in the form of chart, that this way also you can represent in your examination. So first is risk knowledge, very important. That is systematically you have to collect data and undertake the risk assessment. कि जो भी हैजार्ड एंड वल्नरेबिलिटीज है दैट आर नोन टू यू, पर्टिकुलर एरिया में आपको पता है कि कौन से हैजार्ड है, कितने वल्नरेबल पीपल है, पर वल्नरेबल प्लेसेस है, what are the patterns and trends of this factor, because you are having the past history. So you can make out all this risk map and data widely available or not, that data management system that will decide your risk knowledge. Okay, next is monitoring and warning services. So it developed the hazard monitoring and early warning services. So right parameter are monitored. अगर साइक्लोन है तो आप इंटेंसिटी मेजर कर रहे हैं, आप उसका स्पीड ऑफ ऑनसेट मेजर कर रहे हैं. सो ऑल आर इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट. एंड इज देयर एनी साउंड साइंटिफिक बेसिस फॉर मेकिंग द फोरकास्ट? कोई साइंटिफिक वे है आपका कि हाउ यू कैन, you are going to give the timely warning, how you can generate it? So these are all possible when you are doing it continuously, monitor that particular disaster. Next is response capabilities. So this is very necessary for build national and community response capability. अगर आपके पास अच्छा सा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, अच्छा सा इंस्टीट्यूशन मैनेजमेंट है, कोऑर्डिनेशन प्रॉपर है, तो दिस रिस्पॉन्स कैपेबिलिटी कैन बी इंक्रीज्ड. ओके, सो रिस्पॉन्स प्लान अप टू डेट है, टेस्ट किया हुआ है, लोकल कैपेसिटी नॉलेज इज इनफ टू टेकल दैट डिजास्टर, आर पीपल prepared to react to the warning. So these are all related to response. And last is dissemination and communication. So communicate the risk information and early warning. This warning are going to reach to all those which are who are at risk. जो लोग रिस्क पे है उसको आप कम्युनिकेट कर पा रहे हो. आर द रिस्क एंड वार्निंग्स अंडरस्टूड? आपने तो बोल दिया जाके कि भाई यहाँ पे आने वाला है, लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया, सो देयर इज नो मीनिंग. ओके, so whatever warning that you are giving, it is clear and usable to the people at risk, that is to be seen. So these are the 4 key elements of early warning system: risk knowledge, monitoring and warning services, response capability, and dissemination and communication of early warning. So this early warning information needs to be communicated in people in friendly manner, okay, in such a way that that facilitates the decision making and timely action of the response organization and vulnerable people. जो भी organization involved है वो भी timely act कर पाए, as well as vulnerable people, they can also act in well in time. So basically this early warning system that comes from the different offices, as you know that meteorological office होगा तो that will forecast related to this weather related disaster, flood, cyclone, etc. Ministry of Health होगा, so that is related to disease. Nowadays this corona is going on, so that pandemic, etc. So they have to give some guidelines for that. Then agriculture, for the crop forecast, local and indigenous sources are there, media sources are there. Nowadays this internet is also useful in early warning information. So why it is needed? So this is the need of early warning system. Disaster reduction is a legitimate matter of public policy at the highest national level. By law, the life of the people that is to be saved by government. Okay, it's a legally they are bound to save your life. Okay, for the public safety and protection of the human lives. Okay, and this protection of the national resource is also equally important. लोगों की life बचाना at the same time national resource. Okay, whatever the national resource that is in the form of infrastructure, private property, or investment, etc. So that will ensure the long-term development and economic growth. तो लोगों को बचाना और अपना खुद का resource बचाना, this too should be the very much priority for any government. Okay, and that can be fulfilled by this early warning system. By reducing the impact of disaster, a government avoids the financial and political burden of massive rehabilitation cost. If they are not giving money for preparedness and mitigation aspect, then later on they have to spend money on rehabilitation cost after disaster. So if they are having good system, they can save this money. Okay, then investing in early warning and other measures of disaster reduction is neither simple nor inexpensive. Okay, but the benefits of doing so and the cost of failing to are very considerable. So it is better to invest in early warning and other measures of disaster reduction than to go on after disaster stage, that is rehabilitation recovery phase. Okay, because you know that prevention is better than cure. The same aspect can be applied here also. So what are the benefits of early warning system? You can reduce the human and economic loss of any country, reduction in the environment loss, long-term benefit to your economy, and short-term benefit for the administration. A country that can influence in the international relation by a good handling of whatever the disaster or indirect effects on neighboring nation. So you can have a good image around your neighboring nation, that if you are helping and if you are tackling the any disaster timely, effectively, then you can improve your image amongst the international community also, and that will build your good relation with them. Okay, if you are helping them, so you can also get help whenever you need. So that way you can get the benefit of this early warning system. So this communication of early warning system is very essential. So effective early warning system needs an effective communication. If you are having the knowledge that you are going to give early warning, then you have to communicate it properly. So that needs very important infrastructure. That hardware that should be reliable and robust होना चाहिए. That's same at the same time effective software and interaction. So interaction between all the communities, scientific community, because there is a major application of science and technology, all the stakeholders, decision makers, public and media. So they have to all integrated approach is required, because all have to act at the same time. Okay, so scientific community, stakeholder, decision maker, public, media, everyone, they should be properly integrated, and that integration or interaction is very important, and that is very important for early warning process, right from top level to bottom level. Then proper ITC, information and communication system, because this is the key element. Okay, because for the dissemination of information, and also emergency power supply and backup system, they are also very critical in order to avoid the collapse of communication system after disaster occur. Because एक बार disaster हो गया, आपका communication link fail हो गया, so there is no meaning, you cannot communicate. So this backup system should be also very reliable, and because that needs a very important role at the time of emergency. So emergency power supply and backup system, they should be very robust and reliable, similar to your other infrastructure. So one aspect is that is called as community-based early warning system. Here, all the approaches, it will be community-centered or people-centered, you can say, because ultimately the life of the people is to be saved. So the system, which is the main idea or main role of community is there, and that is called as community-based early warning system. So we'll just study about this community-based early warning system. So this EWS has limitation in terms of saving life if it cannot be combined with the people-centered approach and network. Okay, because people are to be involved. So EWS should be understandable, and it should be trusted by and relevant to the community they serve. So those community who are going to be affected, they whatever you are saying, it should be understood by them. उनको समझ में आना चाहिए. वो trust भी करना, आपने तो समझा दिया, वो trust नहीं कर रहा आपको. So that is a trust issue. So it should be understandable, trusted by the people. It has little value or unless it is reaching to the people who are at the risk. Okay, so it is very essential that people who are living in that particular disaster prone region, they should be properly trained to respond to such type of early warning. Okay, so this community based early warning system are anchored in the communities and managed by the communities, basically all the people or all the communities that are involved, and it is based on the people centered approach that empowers the individuals and communities threatened by the disaster, so that they can act in sufficient time and appropriate manner to reduce their all the losses. Okay, damage to property, damage to environment, personal loss of life, etc. So it provides the communities, practitioners, and the organization involved in disaster risk management with advanced information of risk. So here you can see it's a people-centered approach, and this will help to reduce the economical losses by allowing the people to better protect their asset and livelihood. So what should be the essential features of this community-based early warning system? All community members, especially the vulnerable groups, they should be involved at all the stages. कुछ भी आप decide करते हो, सब stage पे vulnerable people, they should be involved. They should be based on the need of everyone in the vulnerable segment of the community. You have to focus on the need of everyone. It will enhance the capacity of the community members to deal with their situation and meaningful participation in the decision making process. जो भी community leaders हैं, members हैं, so they should be knowing the situation. Okay, So that will enhance the capacity of them to tackle the disaster. So these are the key elements for successful implementation of early warning system. ये सब पूरे key elements if they are followed, then you can say that it is very successfully you can implement any early warning system. So first important aspect is understand the most likely threats, likelihood of disaster and their potential consequences. So you can say it's a risk knowledge basically. So although these natural disasters are not precisely predictable, but more often they are foreseeable. मीन्स आप पहले से आप देख सकते हो उसको, ठीक है ना? तो उसी के बेस पे आपको अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम डिजाइन करना है. Okay, so this you can say it's nothing but it is related to that HRV mapping, hazard risk vulnerability mapping of a particular area. Then you can easily anticipate based on the past experience and analysis of current pattern of land use, population change हो रहा है, whatever changes that are taking place. So you can come to know that which are the most likely threats or disaster that may, and also their probable consequences can be known to you. Next is establish proper priorities. If you are having scarce resource, कम resource है, so you have to use them wisely, and the values which are at high risk or high value जिस पे है उसको आपको try to avoid, try to save them first. So it will help in establishing the priorities. Then developing the institutional network with clear responsibilities. All the institution arrangement you are having, but they should know their responsibility. Okay, so that coordination is very essential. Each and everyone should know their own responsibility and they should fulfill that. Okay, so all this because it's a combination, combined effort, it's a concerted action, combined effort है सबका. Science and research institution they are involved, land use planning, environment, finance, development, education, health, each and everyone is involved. Communication, transportation, labor, social security, as well as national defense, each and everyone has to involve and they have to do their responsibilities. So this concerted action, it should be managed by the high authority and to be taken by a specific type of institution. So each and everyone has to be involved, level ranging from cabinet minister to community leader, top to bottom, each and everyone they are to be involved properly. Then establish or strengthen the legal framework and mechanism. So जो भी अपना legal by law हमको जो भी हमको right मिले हुए हैं, so that should be properly followed, and it is the government's responsibility to save the life of people, particularly at the time of disaster. Okay, so this because this whenever disaster takes place, it is beyond the capacity of that particular community. So executive power, exceptional executive power for a specific period is to be properly followed. Then only it will be useful in tackling the disaster. Then developing the effective communication strategies. Communication strategies proper hona is very essential. All is either with the hardware aspect or software aspect. So proper communication system should be developed, securing the resources. So substantial amount of resources needed to ensure the monitoring, adequate early warning, concerted disaster reduction and return to normal life. So these are all the measures by which you can successfully implement a particular early warning system. So in India, we are having National Disaster Communication Network, so that you should know. So this is acting at the time of disaster, okay, and that is before stage. That is, you can say regarding before and during stage. So what is the aim of this National Disaster Communication Network (NDCN)? To create digitized, converged, adequate, reliable, responsive, interoperable, and diverse technology based communication and IT network. Both are involved, communication and IT network, with the desired national disaster management information system capability and support of the complete disaster. जब तक पूरा disaster खत्म नहीं हो जाए तब तक ये active रहेगा. Okay, so it's a very different type of this network which is acting, and that is provide all the multi services such as audio, video, data, knowledge, everything. whatever data we are having, spatial data, non-spatial data, whatever knowledge based on which we have given the early warning system. So everything is to be involved. Okay, and it will reach to it is emphasis on last mile connectivity to affected community. Last तक आपको पहुंचना है, last people who is affected during all the phases of disaster. So this and basically this NDCN, it is the network of network. Okay, so all the networks are involved or integrated in one network. Okay, so this is National Informatics Central Network, that is included statewide area network, सबके statewide area network that are included. Police network is included. Disaster management network of ISRO is involved, connecting them to various EOCs, that is Emergency Operations Center, right from national level to state level to district level to taluka level. So all are involved together in the same national disaster communication network. So it is nothing but it's a network of networks. Okay, scientific community is involved, police network is involved, statewide area network is involved, all the emergency centers are involved. So this disaster recovery site for this National Emergency Operations Center is located outside Delhi, away from the NO is and that is the National Emergency Operations Center in another geographical location. एक तो है ही, उससे दूर भी एक disaster recovery site है आपके पास. So this is just a figure which is showing this NDCN and Emergency Operations Center. So all are connected and all are having this facility of this satellite, national EOC, mobile EOC, this district EOC, this regional EOC, and this is the actual disaster sites, and this are the GPS installed in the mini mobile communication pack. So all are working at the time of emergency in coordination. And here you can see the data fusion center. So this connectivity, mobile connectivity, internet, etc. Then this data fusion center मतलब वहाँ पे सब data integration होगा. So spatial data, space related data, non-spatial data from the GIS platform. Then hazard specific data from the various agencies and ministries. So you can say that is attribute data, and data from the data center of regional and district EOC. All are to be fused together and just to make it in a applicable form. So here this is the national or state communication network, that is NCDN. So here you are having this satellite communication, national level emergency operations center, state level emergency operations center, district level emergency operations center, taluka level emergency operations center. All are acting together, working together, coordinating together. Okay, then on the field, this field emergency operations center. Okay, at the location of incident, all are providing relief, etc. Then continuous monitoring and deployment of the resources as per the requirement. Then state emergency resource center that may be established as per the requirement. Additional support may be demanded. Alert and warning center. So all are coordinating together to tackle the disaster, and that is happening through the National Disaster Communication Network. So you can say it's an integration of all the network together, and they are working at the time of disaster. So what are the special features of this NDCN? It is very responsiveness, availability and survivability for providing near and real-time communication and IT support. पूरा communication and IT support provide करता है during the disaster, with particular reference to early warning system. जो भी early warning आया है उसके related all the possible services are to be provided. Creation of the plant communication and IT asset would require appropriate workstation based static and mobile EOCs for effective management. All these EOCs that will be activated. So national level to state level to district level, all the EOCs that will become operational, and on field, that is by work of NDRF. To develop the network in an evolutionary and phased manner so as to stay in the tune with the National Disaster Management Plan. According to National Disaster Management Plan, all the infrastructure and fund may be available to them, and they will work in a phased manner. Main thrust is to integrate the disparate network through gateways. जो भी आपका network है उसको आपको integrate करना है. whoever the network that is related to disaster management, that is to be integrated properly. So the fundamental objective is to ensure that at the time of disaster, the network should be able to connect up with any available communication and IT connectivity. Because what happens, in the normal time, data exchange and bandwidth requirement, it is minimum. But at the time of emergency, it should be upgraded. Okay, and particularly for all these emergency operation centers, and also for the NDRF unit and concerned early warning system agencies. So this is to be provided effectively by this NDCN, National Disaster Communication Network. So once they are receiving the early warning, they will start activating in the form of all the scientific community, police community, and all the EOCs. They will start working. It is also they are working, that is for the call center based helpline, which should be established at various levels. So you might be knowing that whenever such disaster take place, तुरंत helpline numbers आ जाते हैं, ठीक है ना. So they will start functioning at the moment some disaster takes place. Okay, and it will be actively working during the live disaster also. And this call center of necessity would have to be multilingual, मतलब अलग अलग लैंग्वेज में, ताकि सबको पता चल पाए. ठीक है, so हिंदी, इंग्लिश and state language. Then concept of personal emergency call number for disaster management nodal officer, which will be on the all India basis. नोडल ऑफिसर का नंबर भी दे दिया जाता है. Then GIS based data fusion center, जो फ्यूज करता है डेटा, called as the National Disaster Management Information System, is established as this NEOC2 of NDMA. It is connected with all the state data center and that all the emergency center with adequate data storage capacity. So all the data that are available with any agency, that can be used by the other agencies, and that is that combined center, it is called as National Disaster Management Information System, which is established in this National Emergency Operation Center 2 of NDMA. And Data Fusion Center is set up at NRSC, Hyderabad, to serve as a disaster recovery site for NDMIS. And its approach is, what is its approach? It's a hybrid approach. Hybrid approach में क्या होता है? Top down for fuse data. Top down, because it will come from the top management or the senior management, starting with the senior management. So top down means whatever that fuse data available to them, that should be available to downward. And bottom data means ground data, जो भी हमारे पास है, basic data. So that they have to combine together. Okay, so both the data, that is top down and bottom up approach. For the basic data, it is generally followed by this NDCN. So this type of system that is helping in our particularly managing the disaster after getting the early warning, National Disaster Communication Center. So this existing national early warning system, which are prevailing in India, that you should know thoroughly. Okay, at least you should know the names of the agencies who are responsible for giving early warning system, and how they are giving early warning system. What are the particular principles that are adopted while giving the early warning? That we will discuss in the next class. So this government of India has designated the various nodal agencies for early warning of different natural hazards. So for avalanches, we are having snow and avalanche study establishment. Then for cyclone, IMD. For drought, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. For earthquake early warning, IMD. For epidemics, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. For the floods, we are having Central Water Commission. For landslide, Geological Survey of India. For tsunami, we are having Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services, that is located in Hyderabad. So these are all the early warning systems that are available in India for giving early warning. And whenever any impending disaster it is going to come, they are responsible for giving the necessary warning and they have to issue the alert, etc., as per the need. So this how these all agencies they are working, how they are responsible for managing the disaster, etc., that we will see in the next part of our early warning system. That is the second part of early warning system. Okay, so thank you very much.